Okay, we're officially recording now. So I'm going to go ahead and share out my screen and get into Google Classroom. Okay, here we go. Give me just a second. There we go. Y'all see my Google Classroom screen? We're good? I can't see you anymore because I'm looking at Google Classroom. So
Yeah, it looks good, Misha. You're good to
okay,
go.
thank you, Larry. Thank you. I'm going to need your help there. All right, the first thing I want to show all of you, most awesome thing that just happened. It's called Visit a Class. Do you remember during the pandemic when you would need to visit a classroom? What do you have to do? You had to become a teacher of that classroom. You just couldn't go in there and like check on kids or anything. Well, they've changed that now. Took them a little while to get it there. I'm so happy it's here now. But under, if you look right over here, it says Visit Class, which means I click it and it's going to say, hey, you can now provide support for teachers and students. And you just go in, you can search for students, for particular students, and go in and actually assign them things and give them things and look at what they're doing. And you don't have to be a teacher in the classroom to do that. So you just click Visit a Class. And once you do that, it's going to, let me open up this tab here. It's going to say you can search by teacher, you can search by student. You put a student name or a teacher name in there, and then you'll be able to enter that classroom for just that little bit that you need to be in there. So you don't actually have to be a member of that classroom, because sometimes then you get all those notifications. And so if you are a SPED teacher, or you know SPED teachers that might use this, or even our innovative technology teachers, or anybody who supports students and they don't have a class, they're not a part of that class, this is going to be really, really great for them. So I'm excited about that for our teachers. So just wanted to show that to you super quick before we jump into practice sets. I'm going to go back to my other tab here. This is my home tab for Google Classroom. Now, the only way that you can get to practice sets is by creating an assignment and using the practice sets, or creating them here on the home page. You're going to see them right here. I can zoom in right here, practice sets, and they do a lot of really cool things. And we're going to kind of go through, different ways that we can actually provide that information for students through these practice sets, because practice set means literally practice. This isn't really something that you're going to want to get a grade for. Maybe you just want to get a feel for what your students know. Maybe you want to show them a different way, a different problem type. We talked about, where you have multiple selections, or you're doing a multiple choice and you're trying to question it like they do in the STAR 2.0, just to give them a little more practice. That's what this is for. This isn't just for a quiz. That's when we use like the Google Forms and other things. So I'm going to go ahead and click on practice sets. And if you are in Google Classroom, please do this right along with me, so that way you know exactly where it's at. And if you have questions about certain things, not that I have all the answers, but I will try to answer those questions for you. Okay. You'll notice I don't have any practice sets in here. Well, I did, but I kind of removed them so that way we could work on one together. So what do? We always go to that plus sign, the create. We're going to create a practice set. So I click create. All right. And now I need to name this practice set. Larry, I know you're going to be completely shocked, but I'm going to name it Sharks.
Oh my God.
I know.
Not another shark lesson.
I know it's going to be another shark lesson if I can type today. All right. All right, so I have my practice set's going to be on sharks. Now, this has some really cool things that you can do in here, and it doesn't take much time to do this. So let's get ready and take a look at this. All right, so I'm going to type a question, and my question is going to be, which shark lives in the deepest part of the ocean? And if you know it, keep it to yourself for just a few minutes. But now what Google is doing is it's reading my question. Okay, so it's already starting to think about what it can do with that. I don't want to give it a short answer. I'm going to make this, you can do a short answer, you can do a paragraph, you can do a single select, or you can do a multi-select. I'm going to do a single select. Okay, so my option one, I'm going to put in here great white. Okay, I'm going to put in here goblin shark. Okay, I'm going to put in here Greenland shark. And I'm going to put in here mako. Okay. All right, so now I have my four types of my sharks that are in here, and I need to pick the one that is the correct answer because it's going to ask me to do that. So I'll go ahead and click this one. That is the correct answer. It's going to be the goblin shark. And so when it's going to grade it for me automatically, it's not really grading, it's just saying who got them correct or who didn't get them correct. Because again, this isn't about a grade, this is about practice. Practicing question types, practicing, what they know about this particular subject. But I want you to look down here. This is really, really awesome. Right here. See suggested. There's some skills in there that Google's like, hey, you asked this question about the deep ocean, and I might have some help for those students. So if I click on see suggested, and I'm going to search for skills, and I'm going to look for ocean depths. Okay. Identify the ocean zones. That might be helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Oh my gosh, it just added 2 videos to my question here. So if my students don't get it correct, they have some resources that will help them to determine what that shark is that lives at that ocean depth. I can actually click on this video and it's going to show me, there's the ocean depths. I can watch these videos right here. I didn't do anything. I just put in a couple of words, and the AI that's in the practice sets actually built that in there and put those videos right in there for me. It'll also find websites for you and all kinds of things based on the skills that you want your kids to do on that particular question. Imagine math. Think about math. Think about social studies. We're doing science right now. Reading, some of those reading skills, and you can put those in there, and it will find things that correlate with that question type and with what you're asking about, and it'll try to find things for you. Now, it doesn't find things all the time, but pretty much all the time. And I just happened to pick one that did find something. You'll see that the little light bulb here is orange, or kind of an orangish yellow. It's telling me that, okay, I'm going to go ahead and put these in here for your students. So if they don't get it right, this will be extra help for them. They can look at these videos and that will help them to pick the correct answer. Because after we have a couple of questions here, we're actually going to go in and see what it looks like as a student. Is that a question?
Yeah, we had a question from Lorena. She's asked, oh, it went away. Hang on, let me get back in. Does it work when questions are in Spanish?
That I am not sure. I am not sure, and I don't want to say yes or no on that. I know Google has a really good translator, but I don't know if practice sets works in Spanish as of yet. It's pretty new, and again, I don't want to misspeak. My answer to that would be try it out to see if it works for you. If it doesn't, we'll have to do some of that translation stuff with the Google Translate to get everything to match up. But I apologize for that. That's a good question.
Yeah, but the thing with AI, if it doesn't now, it will soon.
Yeah, it will soon. Because Google's really good about making sure everything translates. So I know it will be available soon. I don't know what soon will look like according to Google if it's not there already, but that's something I did not try. But thank you for the question. Thank you. Thank you for keeping me honest. Any other questions before I move on? We good? All right. So I have my first question here. Okay. And now I can add another question. And to add another question, all I do is click the new question button that's right down in here. So I can click new question, and then I can type in my next question. So I do have a second question that I'm going to add, and then we're going to take a look at some of the settings and then how to look at it from the student point of view, like I was saying. Okay. My second question is, what do sharks use to find prey in the ocean? All right, and I'm going to make this a multi-select. Ooh, multi-select, which means more than one answer is correct. Do they use their fins? Or do they use their eyes? Or do they use their gills? Or do they use ampullae? Okay, and I'm going to choose ampullae, and I'm going to choose eyes. But notice I could choose all 4 if I wanted to. If I really wanted to get a little tricky with my kids, I could choose as many as I want as the correct answer. All right, oh, there's some suggested skills here. Let's see what we got in here. We're going to search for finding food. Let's see if anything comes up. Oh, nothing. See, describe it. Yes, this one right here. This is good. Adaptations of ocean animals. And if I click on the videos, oh, look at that. It's got more stuff. And again, I would go back and I'd watch those videos, make sure that they were pertaining to what I was asking for the question. Okay, so now I've got 2 questions in there, and wow, I spent like a lot of time finding those videos for my students. Oh, that's right, I didn't have to because Google did it for me. So Google's not only going to tell you which answers are correct, but it's also going to help you with finding those extra sources in case they got it incorrect. This is that extra support that when you're not right there next to them, you know, that they'll be able to get that correct answer. Any questions about that? Are we good?
We are good.
Okay, awesome. All right, I want you to look right up here at the gear wheel. You know, I always say three dots in Google, always something awesome in there. Also check those gear wheels, because that means there's settings in there and there's ways that you can customize whatever tool that you are using. So I'm going to click on the gear wheel and look at this. So I can allow equivalent answers. What that means is that if somebody were to do like a 1.5 instead of a 1/2, if they don't have the symbols right, it will say, okay, that's a correct answer if that's what you want. And you'll see here x plus y or y plus x if they got it backwards. And it also can be used with some of the spelling components, like if you have a capital letter instead of a lowercase, if you're looking, because you know it does look at every single character, so you can allow some of those equivalents, and so it will take into account that. Or you can have that turned off. Right now mine's turned off. It's turned off by default. And ignore capitalization, which is what I was just talking about as well, so you can have that on or off if you want to. That will be your call on those, but I'm going to keep my settings the way that they are. I'm going to hit save. Okay, you're going to see this share button. You're going to think, oh, this is how we share it out with students. No, this is how we share it out with colleagues. So let's say I'm making a practice set on, you know, wow, big surprise, everybody, sharks. And my colleague in 1st grade, they're doing one on other ocean animals. And so we're going to combine them together. So I can actually share my practice set out with my colleagues, and it'll give them a copy of it, so then they can do what they want. Maybe they don't want all the questions that I created. Maybe they only want some of them, so they'll have the ability to edit that once I share it with them. So if I click the share button, it's going to get a link. So if you click it, now there's the link, and I click the link, and then I send that to my colleagues, and now they'll have a copy of my practice set. Okay, you can either share it or not share it. That'll be up to you. But this is a great way. This is not how we share it out with students. I will show that to you in just a little bit. All right, so I have my sharing link on just in case Larry really wants this practice set on sharks, because I know he just loves sharks as much as I do. Well, maybe not. I'm not sure. I love them pretty much. All right, so one of the things I can also do is I can try as a student. So I want to see what this looks like on the student side. So let's take a look. If I go try a student, all right, I'm going to open up, it's opening it up a new tab. So here's the tab as the student. Okay, so this is what they see. So here are the answer choices, right? And if I choose a wrong answer, the Greenland shark, okay, and I'm going to check. I click check as a student. The student is just checking. Again, this is just a check for understanding. This is not a quiz. I click check, and it's checking, and it's like, you didn't quite get that right. But I want you to notice what is blinking right here at me. And it's saying, hey, I have a hint for you that might help you to get this answer correct. And when I click on it, this could be helpful.
My name is
and this is a video, one of the videos that I had selected and said, yeah, run that video. And so it will go through I think there were 3 videos that went with this one, and it will go through that first video. And if I need another hint, it'll go through the second video, and etc. Okay. So this is, again, I did so much work for this. You saw I did like hardly anything. So this is a really great way to, again, insert those extra supports that our kids might need. Right. I'm going to go ahead and click on the X. Watch this. This is amazing. All right. So let's say I'm doing math, or I'm doing something where I'm going to need to like maybe draw something or write something. See this button down here, show your work. It's pretty cool. This is pretty cool. It starts off, I could start typing in there if I wanted to, or I can click the pen and I can start drawing. And as you can see, I'm drawing a math problem. I can draw a happy face. And when I want to delete it, I just click the eraser and it will take each part that I drew off, each line that I created. So in case I need to, erase all of it or some of it. And now you might think, oh, the kids might find some other uses for this. Well, you know what? We do that with paper too. So we just have to be cognizant of that and make sure that we're doing that important monitoring part when they are doing a practice set. But this is a really cool feature to have. So if you needed them to show their work, they could actually draw it out on here. I mean, even if you wanted them to justify an answer, they had to do some writing, and then you can actually have them go in here and type out and justify why they selected that particular answer. So this is a really cool feature. I really like this a lot. Any questions about this particular feature here, the show your work feature? We're good? All right. So you can clear the content or you can remove the notepad as a student. I'm still in as a student right now. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead. Do I hear maybe a question? I'm hearing like somebody's mic went on. No?
No, we're good.
Okay, we're good. All right. So for this one, we did a multiple choice, right, where we had multi selections, right? So if I go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and choose the correct ones just so see what it looks like, and I click check. It's checking. Yay, I got it correct. There's not a little woo or anything. I wish there was, but there's not. But if I got the wrong answer, once again, my little light up here would start to flash to let my students know, hey, we need you to go in here and check out some more information. Here's some help that might guide you to what the correct answers will be. And again, this is just a check. All right, I'm going to head on back to my actual form here as the teacher. Okay. All right. So as I continue to edit down and add some things to here, you might be asking yourself, what's this import thing? You asking yourself about that? What this import thing? You might think, oh, we can import stuff into it. We can import docs. And the only thing that we can import right now into practice sets, because it's so new, is a PDF file. That's it. And it doesn't even have to be an entire PDF file. And that was the one part that I didn't do, is I didn't download a PDF file on Sharks. So I'm just going to go find one really super quick. Find one just on anything here, just so I can show you. Let's see here. Yeah, nothing's coming up, of course, because everybody loves Sharks like me, right? Let's see, images. All right, I'm going to just show you how this one here. If I can just get it to download, give me just a second here. Here we go. All right, save. All right, so what we'll do is we'll need to upload it into Google Drive. And once it's uploaded in Google Drive, then we'll be able to take bits and pieces off of it. We'll make like a little box around whatever part of that particular PDF that we want to take. So I'm going to go ahead and click import. And first place it's going to look, of course, is my Google Drive. And I don't think I even have a PDF in here that we could possibly choose. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and choose this one since it's already in here. All right. And I'm going to, and this page right here. So put a box around it. This could be a question. This could be an answer choice. This could be a part of the image. All right. Import, and I can import more than one. So if I wanted that one and then I wanted this one, see, here we go. And I wanted all of this right here. You see how it's making a box around everything? All right. I'm going to say, I'm going to import those three, import questions. And it's going to put each one of those images as part of the question. All right. So if I go up here, now I can add the question component to this, because this is just an image. This isn't, this isn't a live, like a question. You could make it a question where it just shows the question, but then you're going to need to give a little more instructions here up here, and then also add your answer choices. You can't add your answer choices as the PDF. It's only part of the question for right now, unfortunately. But this is so new that they're working on this as we speak. But it's so cool that I can pull things straight off of a PDF file and put it in there as part of my question, as something that I'm referring to in my question. Are there any questions about how to import a PDF file. It should be up in your Google Drive. You can upload it, but that gets a little more tricky because then it's harder to select the pieces. So I would already have it in your Google Drive. So upload it first, then go in there to import and pull it down so that way you can add those components to it. Okay. Any questions? We're good?
We are good, Misha.
All right. Okay. And I want to make sure I'm looking at everybody's looking at the right screen there. Okay. All right. So I'm going to say that I'm done editing with this. Okay. So I'm click done editing. Okay. And now it just loaded up my practice set here. It's going to let me kind of look through it. And I'm going to click the back arrow because now here is where my practice set is living. It's living here in what's called practice sets within my Google Classroom. Now, if I go into a Google Classroom, here's a practice classroom that I have, and I want to go to classwork, and I want to assign my practice set. Ooh, there it is right there. Practice set. So I'm going to click practice sets, and where's it going to take me? It's going to take me right here. Now, when I click practice sets, you'll notice that I have the create button. So if I don't want to create that practice set ahead of time, I want to create it within my Google Classroom, I have that ability to do it. But since I've already created the practice set, I click it, and now it should load it right into the right here, attach. And yeah, okay. It's missing a couple of right answers. Not a problem. If I just go in here and let me edit it real quick here. And I'm just going to remove these questions really quickly, just so it will do what I need it to do. Here we go. All right. Done editing. All right. Now we're going to attach it. And it's going to attach it right there into my Google Classroom assignment. It's ready to go. Do you see how easy that was? Again, practice sets is right here. I can either create a new practice set right here on the spot, or I can have one that I've already created. Again, maybe if I'm working with my colleagues and they want to share out, and now I can use their practice set in here with my students because I have my own copy now. I can add to that practice set. I can add more questions. I can take questions away. It's like, you know, we're all sharing with their wealth. And so what a great way to get those kids to, you know, work on some of those question types. And that's where those PDFs can come in handy too, is sometimes the way that they're asking those questions now, maybe you want to copy that. It's perfectly worded, and so you can put that question piece in there, and then you can add the answer choices. Unfortunately, again, that import component is not yet available for the answer choices. It's available for the question part, but that's coming. That's coming very, very soon. Okay, does anybody need me to show you that part again, or are we good to move on here? We're good?
I think we're good.
All right. All right. I'm going to head back over here to my practice sets. Go ahead and exit out of the assignment and back to practice sets. Okay. All right. So let's say that, you know, this is a great practice set, but it wasn't, I'm not sure I'm going to want to use this one again, or maybe I'm not sure. 3 dots. 3 dots always mean what? There's something awesome in there, so you got to check the menu. So you can get the share link, like what we did when we were inside, and we got that share link to share out with our teachers. We can make a copy of it already if for some reason we wanted to use that practice set, maybe with another class, or if we wanted to have 2 different type of practices with almost the same information on both of them, you can make a copy. And of course, you can delete. And once you delete, it will go into the trash, and it will sit there for 45 days, not 30 days. It'll sit there for 45 days. That's pretty cool. In case, oh, darn it, I put it in the trash and I really didn't mean to. I don't want that to go away. You have up to 45 days to go into your trash, which is right here. And you'll see that I have a couple already in here, and I can actually pull them back out. Are you sure you want to restore it? And you click restore, and look what happens. It's going to kind of restore it. And now I have 2 that are structured almost the same, not quite the same, but now it pulled it back out of the trash for me. Now, had it been day 46, it wouldn't be in the trash anymore. It would be gone, and it would be gone forever. Because after that time, Google's going to just erase it completely. So you have, how many days? You have 45 days.
Now, Misha, I got a question. If I
Yes.
duplicate, I can edit the duplicate, right?
I do believe so, but
So,
let's just make sure.
so if I make a copy of one
Mhm.
that I made, maybe that's for my tier 2 students. I can modify it,
Yes, because
change
you
it
can go
for a
in here.
tier 1
Yes.
or a tier
Mhm.
3, and then I can modify for my students that way, correct?
Yes. You see here, this is one that I had made about a month or so back, and it has the videos in here. And what I did here is I actually imported a question, which of these sharks, and actually had the answer choices. And then what I did was I didn't put any answer choices in here because they were already in here, but they actually had to write a short answer, which one of is the A, B, or C on this particular one here. And they had to put the correct answer in there.
Now,
On this
we
one.
had a question. Does it automatically make a copy for each student?
No, it's actually, I think it's just one that
It's
is
just the assignment itself, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not making a copy for everybody. It's not like when you make a Google Doc and it makes them a copy and it puts their name on it. It's basically all you're doing. It's kind of like where you're allowing the AI to kind of take over a little bit. Ooh, that's a scary word, AI, right? We're a little worried about that sometimes, but it's just like you're just giving them access to it, and then they go in and they're just practicing. So again, it's not even going to like their name or anything. It's just they're going in, they're checking their answers to see if they've gotten them correct. If not, then here's some extra help to help you to find that correct answer, and it just to go back and forth. And again, you could use this as a beginning. Oh, excuse me. I hope I have a little while left here. You can use this as a way to guide like where your kids are at, or you can actually use it for those answer and question types that they talk about with our favorite word, STAR 2.0. I'm not a big proponent of course of just practicing and teaching the test. I really believe that's going to happen if the kids understand the content. Larry, I know you're right there with me, but they do need to be exposed to those question types, because if this is the first time they've ever seen it, and all of you can attest to this, when it's something new to you, you're more hesitant and you're more unsure of yourself. And we don't want that to happen to our kids. We want them to be sure that they know what the answer is. And it doesn't matter how you throw the questions out at them, they're going to get those answers. So that being said, I think this is a good way to help them to practice without bombarding them. I know we want to make sure they're ready, but this is an easy way to do that. Does that make sense, everybody? Any questions about that or comments about that?
Sorry, Misha, it's going to take me longer to type. So when they do a practice set, technically, I'm going to see it my own. You're not going to get any information like, oh, Kathy got number 2 wrong or anything. It's just like a check for me.
It's more like a check for the student. Yes.
Perfect.
Now, yes. And again, if it's a part of an assignment, you'll see who was able to answer the assignments, because it's going to give you that information. Oh yeah, this person went in there and they did it. So if you're giving it as an assignment that way, you can give it credit for that way. But again, we're not really putting any points onto this, because this is just more of a, what do you know, how you're feeling about it, kind of getting ready for an assessment that you might be giving later on. That's the way I look at it anyway. That's a good question.
Even like those pre questions, posts, like, oh, okay. So if I assign it as an assignment, I'll get to see it. But if I just leave it as a practice set, I won't.
Yes. Because they can actually, yes, that's exactly right. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Any other questions? A couple other things I want to point out to you. You see where it says extra help here? So it adds the resources down at the bottom for you. But then there's also an extra help. So even with all the resources that you've already given them, it will try to find even more resources for you by clicking extra help. It'll show you the videos that you might have connected already, and it may have other stuff, because there's a whole bunch of other stuff in here that it didn't find earlier that I could actually move up the chain here. And you know what, I want them to look at this one first, because I know this one wasn't one of the ones that was in the actual question. So I'm going to move this up to the top, and you see all I did was click those little dots dots, told you, something awesome. And I just drug it up to the very top. And so that way, when they go in, that's what they will see. And then they'll be able to watch that video and hopefully get some knowledge and glean something from it that will help them answer the questions. And it's not just videos though. I mean, it will find websites, it will find other things on the web that will pertain to that skill that you want them to, enhance. So, all right, go ahead and exit out here. I'm going to say I'm done editing, and I'm going to go back. You know what? Let's look at this one as a student, since this is one of the ones that I had created quite a while ago. And here's the question that the kids are going to see. Now, this one's kind of small because it came off of a PDF where I just took a little bit of it, and I did that on purpose so that way it would kind of look small. So you got to remember about the size too. So as you're going through, and if you're pulling things off of a PDF, make sure that they're big enough that the kids will be able to see them. But again, there's the show your work that's there. You put your answers in there, and again, you have those same ability to either do a short answer, a paragraph. Now, if you're doing a paragraph, it's not going to be able to tell them whether it's correct or not, because that's a lot of characters that it's going to have to try to check for you. That one you're going to have to do some checking on your own for that one. But it will do a short answer, do multiple choice, and of course multiple select for the answer choices, which is good for those questions. I think those are some of the hardest questions that we give. Whether it's all of the above and check all that that pertain, and you're like, well, it could be all of them, it could be 3 of them. It really makes you have to think. And to me, that's a great way that you could actually then say, show your work, justify your answer. Why do you think it's only these 3, or why do you think it's only these 2 versus all of them? Or what, why isn't it just this one? Why is it this other one as well? So to get them thinking about those answers that they're putting down for you. So any other questions that I can help you with this? All right, so we've learned how to put it into Google Classroom, right? We've learned how to assign it. We've learned how to add to it. How else could we use this? I'm looking for answers from you now. And I know there's some great minds out there because I saw who was in my session. So you all have awesome ideas. Larry, I might have to have you choose somebody if.
Oh, don't do that to me.
Yeah, I'll make you the bad guy today. Come on, I got some awesome people out here. I know you guys are
kind of, like I said, testing that prior knowledge, maybe getting started on a topic and just kind of seeing, where are we? Do they even know what?
Exactly.
About, I guess,
Think about like at the beginning of a unit, right? So this could be, you could have questions on there about that you are going to put like on an end of the unit assessment just to see what they know. Do they know any of this stuff? And if they do, oh my gosh, they know way more than what I thought they did. Okay, now we can go deeper into the subject matter now, because they already know some of this prior knowledge that I wasn't sure that if they knew or not. So it's a great way as a teacher to really personalize that learning. Yes, absolutely. Awesome. I told you were awesome. Anybody else?
One thing I like about it is that it's not threatening to the student.
Yes.
It's a practice. So that way they can get comfortable. It kind of gives them a toe dip into an assessment.
Yes. Yeah, I do. I like that as well, because I mean, yeah, I'm hoping that they add something like a woohoo, like when you get it correct, because that, to me, that's a celebration of, yeah, I knew that. That's awesome. I knew the answer, and I didn't even, my teacher didn't teach that part to me. I already knew that. So I like that and I hope that they do add that. And you know what? If you have any thoughts about this, like, you know what, I wish they could do this. I wish Google Docs could do this. And I'm not talking just about practice sets. I'm talking about Google Classroom or any of the Google tools that we use on a regular basis. Right down here. Actually, this one's a help, but most of them have a question mark on them. And I believe it's on here somewhere. I know I saw it, where you can actually give feedback. And when you give the feedback to Google, I'm going to tell you, and Larry, you can attest to this, they read every line of feedback that you send to Google. every line of it. So if you said, I wish that practice sets could have this. I wish Google Classroom could have this. They read every one of them, and then they have like a chart, and they say, okay, you know what? The wishes for Google Classroom, all of these have the same wish, and there's a whole bunch of people that wanted this. Maybe we need to look at adding this to Google Classroom. They go by how many, they got. And so that's the more times that you put something in there to them and make a suggestion to them, maybe some other people are making that same suggestion, and then that might be one of the next features that comes out in a Google tool. So keep that in mind as well, because your voice does matter. They do read everything, and I can attest to that. I know Larry can attest to that. They're very passionate about making sure that their tools work for you. So, and I know I don't work for Google, but I should. Any comments on any other part of how to use practice sets with students?
For me, I still use it for vocabulary, flat out, easy, academic language, just coming in, making sure that they have the academic languages that they need for that specific unit that you're working on, or that specific point that you're doing in your lesson. That way they know what words they need to know.
Yeah, vocabulary is a huge one, and the first time I saw it, that's how it was shown to me. They were using vocabulary words and actually going through and what is the meaning of this. This, they would use the word in a sentence, and what does that mean? And they had some actually sentence stems that were using the particular words in them, and it was really cool. And again, and then you go into the skills. Okay, what are the skills you're looking for? Vocabulary, and then it's going to find you all kinds. It could find you a website, it could find you an activity online, it could find you, of course, videos. Those are all out there, but it's going to pull those in. And wait, what a time saver for you, because you're not having to go and find all those resources. They're right there. And you might say, wow, this is such an awesome resource. I'm going to use this with my entire class. This isn't just going to be for a wrong answer. There is nothing wrong with you pulling that video, you pulling that resource and using it with your class. That's what it's all for. And the AI is already in there doing that for you. Make Google work for you, right? Let them do the work for you. And this is one way that you can do that.
And the other thing is, this is so easy.
Yes.
I mean, it's not very difficult. It really is not. So it's just something that you could just do real quick. You could build it, come off the fly, and boom, you have it. And then you can also share it with your co-teachers. So
yes, nice. The collaboration piece, I think, is essential. And teaching has changed since when I first started, and Larry, I think you think the same. It's changed a lot, and we have more on our plates now, and being able to share that workload with your colleagues, and because sometimes when you feel like you're an island, you're not going to be able to produce as much as what you'd like to for your students. But if I'm working with some of my colleagues and we're bouncing ideas off of each other, and I'm gonna go ahead and do a practice set on sharks. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do one on coral reefs. Oh, I'm gonna do one, and then pretty soon you've got a whole plethora of things that all of you get to share out with your kids. And who's the beneficiary? Your students are the beneficiary of all of this, and that's what's so great, because then you're not so tired because you're letting Google help do the work for you, and then of course your colleagues are also helping to do that work, and you're all coming together and being a team, collaborative. That's, to me, that is the best way to work in a school. When you're working in a grade level, work together, share the work. That way, it's not so much on just one person.
Does anybody have any questions on this?
I have kind of one that's off. I was thinking about the math part. And then you said the academic vocabulary. So if you assigned it as an assignment and you have the little notepad, right?
Yes.
Is it going to kind of save it? Like,
yes.
Will you see, I don't know, the multiplication or 2 digit by 2 digit, and you can kind of see, man, I can't understand why this kid's not, getting 2 digit. And then you'll go back and, because they can clear it. That's why I'm wondering, will it snap? And then I say, oh, I don't know.
As long as they have put it in there and
Okay.
they haven't cleared it, it's going to stay on there because it's
So I
an
could make
assignment.
that a possible expectation. You cannot clear your work. You have to
Exactly.
submit the whole thing.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And then you will be able to see their thinking process. That's part of their answer. So when it says show your work, and you can put that, I would definitely put that in the directions. Here's the math problem, or if even if it was a math word problem, and they had and there you have 4 answer choices and they guessed correctly. Okay, but how did you get the answer? Tell me what steps did you take to get this answer? And then they could type that out, or they could write it out. They could draw it out on that that little notepad there, and it will stay there as long as they don't clear it. But if they clear it and they let's say they made a mistake, they clear it and then they put the answer there. As long as the answer is there when they turn it in, that's the only thing. So yeah, is because in an assignment you always have to turn in something in. So good questions. Anybody else? But I love this resource piece that shows the again, most of these are videos because the ocean kind of lends itself to the videos. But if we were like doing math or where it's a little more analytical, it might take me to a website. It might take me to somewhere else that I can pull in other resources. It doesn't always just have to be videos. It's not always videos. And I can actually add even more resources to this if I wanted to. I'm going to go ahead and click the extra help again. And if I want, of course, it gives you the resources here, but there should be, where is it? It's usually at the bottom, where you can actually add more resources to the to it as well. So it doesn't just have to be the ones that are listed in there. You can actually add your own as well. You don't have to just stick with what they have, of course, but I would do the search, obviously. If I wanted to do like shark behavior. Okay, let's see if what it finds on here. See if it finds anything. It just looks like it's only going to bring up a few because it might not be something that's a wide subject matter. But I can actually add more things to it, and it will add more and more resources to that as we move along. So I do like that a lot. And don't forget about the settings. Okay, so where are the 2 places where we are going to find the practice sets? Because you're just like, I can see, everyone's on fire today. Ooh, this is so awesome. And then it's like, okay, was it in Google Classroom? Was it in my Google Drive? Where? Because we went to a few places. How do I get to the practice sets? There's 2 ways I could get to practice sets. And you can write them in the chat, and Larry will read them off, and he'll tell me who the correct person is as I'm looking at this. Let me see if I go over here. We got some in here?
Not yet.
Not yet, huh? I'm in there. I'm looking at the questions. Google Drive. Okay. Google Classroom. Okay. Do you want me to go through one more time for you to make sure? There you go. Okay, yep. Very good. Very good. I'm going to go through both of them just one more time, just to make sure that you know where they are, because I don't want anybody walking away from here. I think this is a really great tool and say, oh, I don't remember where it was, because that's what happens to me sometimes. And then I don't have the time to try to go back and find it. So let me go back in here, and I'm going to actually go all the way out. Go to my Google Classroom. So I got to Google Classroom. This is my main page of my Google Classroom. These are all my classrooms. And right over here on the left side is practice sets. That's one way I can get there. If I click it, it's going to take me to my practice sets where I can create. I can pull them out of the trash if I need to, or I can make copies of them for my colleagues. That's one way. The second way to get to the practice sets is if I go into a Google Classroom. I go into the classwork because I'm going to give an assignment. I create an assignment, and it's in the assignment. And again, when I click it, it's going to take me straight to my practice sets where I can create a new practice set, or I can pick one that's already there. So those are the 2 ways that you can get to the practice sets. They're both super easy to get to. But just remember, either it's on the home page, you'll see it there on the left side, or if you're in Google Classroom, you go, oh, that's right. Oh, now I have to go out. You don't have to go out. Just create an assignment, and then you'll see it there as one of the things that you can add to your assignments.
Did that cover you, Miss Chavez?
We good?
Yep,
All right.
good.
All right. Well, any more questions? It's always 5:15, so we have about 15 minutes left. For anybody who has questions, or if you want to see me put in a PDF again or anything like that.
The one to visit a classroom where I'm not a co-teacher, where I still want to go in there.
You like me to go through that? Sure, absolutely. All right, let me go ahead and X out of here. Let me go ahead and go back to Google Classroom. All right, so if I go to visit a class, okay, and you can say don't show me the message again. I keep it on just because I've seen it about a dozen times already, but that's all right. All right, so I'm going to search by teacher or by an email address. So if I'm looking for Mr. Snyder, there he is right there. And I know he's a part of a lot of classrooms just like me. And it's going to show me all of the classrooms that he's a part of, where he's a primary teacher, he's a co-teacher, because I put his email address since he's a teacher. I can do the same thing with students. And it's going to show me all the classes that they're a part of. I do my kids, but they're no longer in the school district, so I can't use them anymore. But if I go here, he's a co-teacher in G Classroom Practice. Click on that. And now I'm actually in the classroom. I'm seeing everything in the classroom, but you know how you have to be invited and you have to either use a code or you have
to share that tab.
Oh, I'm so sorry. There we go. Thank you. Thank you for telling me.
Can you go backwards again? Sorry.
Sure. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share this tab instead. And when I search for William Snyder, and these are all the classes. So all I do is I find the class that I want to help support. And okay, it's this one here. And here is the classroom. And so I'm actually in this classroom. I see the classwork, I see everything that a teacher would see because you're listed as a teacher, except you're not in the classroom. You're not officially in there. It's almost like you're a ghost in there. So you can kind of go in there and see how the students are doing. If I go to people, let's see who's in this class. Well, we have one person that's in here, so I can go in here and look at the assignments by this particular student because it's a classroom. Now, if I'm searching for a particular student, I think it's only going to give me the student information. I don't have any kids that I'm associated with anymore within the district, so I can't take a look at that on that end of it. So was that a question, Larry?
I have Mr. Juan Castillo has his hand raised. How can we help you, Mr. Castillo?
Yeah, Misha, on my sidebar in
Yes.
classroom, I only have home, I have calendar, and I have practice set.
You don't have the visit a class yet.
Class, no.
I know it's like super brand new, and usually the way Google works, and I'm not making any excuses for Google, but they usually kind of roll it out in waves. Like some people will get it one day and then like 2 days later, somebody else will get it. I know that Larry got one of the features before I did. And I was like, dang, you already got that? Oh, wow. And you have to wait a couple of days because since we're such a large district, it kind of goes in waves. If you don't have it by like today, the end of the week, if you will email me at mdaniel@ysc.net, and I will look into why you don't have it.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? No, we're good.
I think we're good, Misha.
All right. Okay. Well, that's pretty much all I have on the practice sets. I know you're feeling very sad because I'm probably going to let you go just a few minutes early. And I know that's, you were really hoping that we'd stay to like 5:40 today, but we went through it pretty well. And if you do have any questions, if you do have any other thoughts about this, and you need to get a hold of us, not that we have all the answers, but we will try to make sure that your questions do get answered. We'll try to find those answers for you if we don't have them.
And just a heads up, AI is going to build itself within different pieces and resources. We're not going to just do a training on AI. It's going to be built within a lot of the resources that we already have. And for example, we might have one on Adobe because there's something called Firefly, and I'm hoping it's ready when we do that session. I'm hoping. And but you won't see it formally as an AI training. It's just pieces of a lot of different resources that have that ability.
And I'm just going to do a little commercial because I believe that next week, correct me if I'm wrong, Larry, but I think next week we're going to be doing another Google Classroom add-on, which is right here, called Read Along. And it's pretty amazing what it can do. And that's all I'm going to tell you about it right now. I mean, you could go in and look for yourself. We all do have it. But we're going to go into depth about how to use that with your students as well. So now we covered practice sets, and then we're going to be practicing Read Along here real soon.
Yep.
So,
And Read Along has an AI component also.
yes, it does. Yeah. AI is built in. It's not its own thing, although, people will tell you that, that we all need to be worried about it. But
And yeah, Natalia, let teachers know about this. Absolutely.
Yeah,
great.
I'm talking about professional ethics.
That,
That's why I need.
and that's
ask.
interesting. That's an interesting question, because, for example, my brother works with the FAA. He had a big, massive paper that he had to do. His boss told him to use AI. But you have to give it credit. Now, the thing is, a lot of AI can identify itself now.
Yes.
Like in Edgenuity, if a student uses an AI or a response, and if they copied it from an AI, then Edgenuity will say, hey, 90% of this was from AI, not from the student. So in itself, it's going to start to catch itself in the situation.
Okay.
But it's something that we're going to need to show our students. For
Yes.
example, like my brother, who's going to be using AI to write papers, you grab it, but you modify that paper. You just don't give it out as the way it is, but you utilize what information it gives you, and you add and modify it to what you want it to be.
Mhm.
And getting back to your ethics part of that, as teachers, part of our digital citizenship, of course, is making sure that they're not plagiarizing or pulling things and copy pasting things off of the internet. And that's just something we have to keep reiterating to them, because, kids are kids, and they're going to try to find the easiest way to do something. Most of them, there's quite a few of them out there that are going to do the right thing and write that paper, but there are those that are going to try to find that easy way out. But if we are constantly reminding them that it's got to be their work and it shouldn't be coming from the internet, and that now we have ways of checking on that, chances are that they're going to do the correct thing and write it out themselves. So that has to come from us as educators to keep reminding them of that, so that way they don't make that mistake. Because like when they go to college and stuff, you're not there. We're not there to kind of remind them. And if that happens, they can get kicked out of school for that now, because it's plagiarizing. We can't have that.
So notice, like, I put in what you might want to put, like, for a footnote. So this says portions of this article was generated with the assistance of AI. And then what tool did I use? ChatGPT, or what tool did I use? But when it comes time to find out if the student understands the content, then that's a Q&A time. You're talking, okay, what do you mean by this? What is going on here? You want to verify that the student truly understands what they're saying or what they're writing about.
Yes. Absolutely. Would we have any other questions? Because it's just about that time. So, or any other comments about anything? We really appreciate you stopping by today and doing our very first ever TacoBout Tech Tuesday. Love it. Taco Tuesday. And we'll be here again next Tuesday.
All right. Thank you all very much. Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. See you next week.
See you next week.
Very good. Thank
All
you
right.
much.
Awesome. Go ahead and